Hi, I'm Janet Hintermeister, and I teach all the machine embroidery classes at the Calico Hutch. And I lead the Speedy Needle uh, group, which meets once every month. But I decided there's so much I could teach you, but I'm going to focus today on the tile patterns that we have. I have the master at the end of the third class of mastery classes. There's such a look of kind of uneasiness or terror in the eyes of my students that I try to encourage everyone to do a tile project. They're really slick, they aren't too time consuming, and on the one I'm showing you now, that is Modern Expressions Tiling Scene. This is what the CD looks like. But if you open it up, there are 16 separate files on the CD, which you load into the computer and then consequently into your sewing machine. So you do one at a time. So this is tile number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now the directions when you download something like this pattern, you will not only have files which are for your machine, but there will be a PDF file, which will be like your recipe, your directions. So there's one here that tells me what supplies I need, how many pieces I need to cut, and what the embroidery looks like. And it goes on. I won't go into each one of those, but it gives the placement and everything. And if I go farther to the back, there is a color chart. There's a color chart that tells you if you want to make the piece like I'm looking at right here, it's like on the cover, and it tells you that color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4, and it gives the numbers of the thread that is put out by Mettler and Isacord. So I have little samples I'll show you in a few minutes here, but that's what happens with every one of the ones I'm going to show you. They're all tiles. And the best part about all of these, and there's some very large ones, some small ones, but the tiles all will fit in this size hoop. And I'm looking at, this is a Bernina large oval hoop, and you can see the size on the back. But that's what's nice, because you don't have to worry about rehooping, because everyone is different. And every file will be the particular one you have loaded. And so I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to show you a few other tile patterns. But remember, they all come with a CD, and on the CD will be the listing of all the files that are in the project. And also you print out a PDF file on your computer, and you will have the same directions for any particular pattern. I usually put these in sheet protectors so that I can keep my unorganized mess when I'm sewing all handy. So that's what I wanted to tell you, and I'm going to talk to you at the end about what I use for stabilizer, because there's some real big do's and don'ts as far as that's concerned. Right now I'm making these in another color because I don't need more of the same. This is one that I've made. This one is called Starry Night Santa, and I think it is stunning. It is a beautiful thing, and it was a fun one to make because it had interesting things happen. Because the thread, you follow the thread chart, and it'll tell you to put a certain color on. You go, oh, that can't be right, but you put it on, and then the next layer it goes on it, and adds more colors, and it turns out to be this. This is called Starry Night Santa, and it is, all of the ones I'm showing you actually are embroidery online, or OESD. Those are the shortcut initials for it. But this one is nice because it calls for more thread than the one that I just showed you. But they are offering with packages where there's a thread kit that goes with it. So in this case, this thread kit is $149, and in here are all the threads needed for this project. And you see there's 3 boxes, and the threads are large spools of thread, and here they list the threads that are in here. I'm not going to open this up right now because you all know what thread looks like. But this is a nice one, Starry Night Santa. Another one that I'll come over here and do this one. This is one that was, this is called Oh Holy Night. And this is the pattern. And you'll see that it shows on the back of the case the different tiles. And inside, when I printed out the PDF file, it gave me all the directions for the thread colors that I needed here. And this one is a little bit more colored. There are more colored choices on this. So we have cases here of thread there. This one called for 2 cases of thread. Now you don't use all of the thread on every one of them. So when you end up finished, you have extra thread in your stash. So, but this is thread that goes with this. And then this is the pattern that you must have in order to make it work. But as I said before, all of these fit in the hoop, the large oval hoop. Another one that I made a while back is a fun one. And if you've been in the store at all in the last couple of years, actually, you'll see that this is in the blacks and whites and grays, but it also has the directions to do it in color. And you can see these are all in color, but in the instructions, it tells you if it calls for a certain color, like a red, and you want to do it this colorway, you use a different color, a gray of some sort. So it's easy to do. Again, they're the same. These squares are approximately the same as this one. And so I'm used to having a class in front of me, so I can say, do you have any questions? But you'll just have to call if you have questions, and I'll be happy to help you out. This one is called Santa's Workshop, and this was fun. I really enjoyed doing this one, and each one of these has a pattern to go with it, and this one also has the colors. You can get the kit if you want to, or you can download and get the PDF file and buy the spools yourself. You don't have to buy the kits if you don't want to. It just makes it a little bit more convenient. Okay. Okay, this one is one that is not, this is a tile, and there are lots of tiles. You can see the tiles. This one is not an OESD or embroidery online. This one is a Smith Street design. And this has been around a long time, and it's been very popular. And I've made this in like 3 shades of blue and white thread throughout, and I've made this one also. And when they came out with a new pattern, I was not happy because I couldn't find this pattern anywhere until I looked at the back of this pattern, and lo and behold, it's here. So we do have this pattern. It just is hiding. But if you ever have questions on these things, don't hesitate to call. This is fun, and you can use your imagination with the colors you want to use on this one. I'm pushing Christmas. Can you tell? I've got all these Christmas things because all you're doing is sitting there waiting for the chance to go shopping again. And so you might just as well start getting ready for Christmas. How's that for motherly advice? Okay, well, this one is a fun one. This one is a poinsettia. This is an OESD pattern, and it is a tiling scene. They're all labeled tiling scene. But you can do so much because you only have a small project. You don't have a large project to work on. You have several small projects. And that this pattern this is poinsettia tiling scene. And I have another one on the wall here at the store that's got more maroon and darker reds than this. This one actually is not all thread. This one is applique. So these are pieces of fabric that are included. And that's a little bit different because then you stop and add, instead of thread, you put a piece of fabric in. And it walks through the process. Okay. Now I'm going to, let's see, I have a couple more. These, I don't have the pattern for it, but I do. This is a spring, summer, fall, and winter set. And this one is OESD pattern 12269. This is called Visions of Fall. And this one is 12277, Visions of Winter. And there's a spring and a summer also. And you can see that they're similar. And usually what I do, I have a door in my kitchen that is magnetic, is metal. So I use a magnet clip and just put the different scenes up for the different times of the year. But they're pretty. And then you see what I did on the where I sewed the seams together. I put this ropey stuff, braid on it. And at first was going to sew it on. But then I decided, I wonder how a little glue would work, and it works perfectly. This has been on here a long time. So I just glued this on to hold so you can't see the seams. Now when you do the seaming on the other ones, let's go back over here. Can you tell how much time I have? 11. Okay, I want to talk about what I do for stabilizer. I have had people, I just got poked with a pin. I have had somebody tell me, well, she didn't like all the stabilizer that was in her project. And I want to tell you, don't always use the stabilizer that the company tells you to do. I use poly mesh. You can see I have poly mesh, and it's a cutaway. So what I do is I put it in the hoop, and I have one here. I have another one. I have this, and then after I'm finished with this, I will trim this, and I'll have all of these scraps, and I save all the scraps, and I put them in so I have a second layer. Can you see those second layer just inside there? And then when I get done and put the fabric on, then I go ahead and embroider it. The last step on any of these projects, any of them, will be a line of sewing that goes around, and that's the trim line. So what you'll do is put in some thread that will kind of go with the purple on this one so that I can see where I want to cut. But I use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I used to use a 1/4 inch, and it got so thick it's hard to press. However, if you use a 1/2 inch, it's smoother. And you can see that I have trimmed these. So I'm all set. I've sewn these two together. And if you match the trim lines, the 1/2 inch, and you sew it together, it comes out beautifully. So you don't have any agony of trying to get things to match up, which is really nice. I have no trouble with that at all. But I do want to make sure that you know that it is smart to put in a thread color that matches similar to the background, because then you don't have to sew it together and think, oh, I can see where the thread is. I don't want it, and then use the thread to get in there and try to pull it out. So I'm kind of careful about that, trying to keep it so that it is the same color. Really makes a difference. And sometimes it's hard to see it here, but recently I've noticed they've changed their directions, and on the last ones that I've done, they've said to put red in the bobbin on the last go around when you're sewing it. And if you put red in the bobbin, you can turn it over this side and you can cut it that way, and you can see what the cutting line is. And I also, when I'm done, as soon as I get done with this project, on the back side, I tell myself it's like, this is tile 13, and I put an arrow so I know which is the top of it. Otherwise, I can get kind of mixed up. So on the backs of all of mine that I have here, this is number 14, and this is the top. This is number 15, the top, and 16, the top, and so on. So that's what I do. I write on the back of it. But remember, if your pattern tells you to use heavyweight or medium weight tearaway, it's going to be too heavy. So this poly mesh it works wonderfully, and I leave it in. I don't cut it out. I just trim around it, and that all goes in the project. Now, just to wrap up here, I just want to point out, I always put an iron-on interfacing underneath the fabric as I start in. So the fabric all has a white layer of this iron-on Pellon on the back of it, and I put that on before I even start embroidering, because every single one of mine has this iron-on interfacing. And then I use the poly mesh cutaway. I use one layer of this in the hoop and then scraps. And I use the thread we have here at the store. I use the Isacord or the Metler. They're both polyester, and I swear they come out of the same factory, because the numbering is the same. If you have 0020 on the little one, it's black. If you have 0020 on this one, it is black. So they're the same color. And then I use bottom line as the thread for the bobbin. Bottom line is real fine, but you have so much going on with your fabric and your interfacing and the facings. Also, you don't need any more heaviness in your thread if possible. So that's why we use the bottom line, and it comes in many colors. But usually if you really have black, gray, white, and beige, that's really all you need for the colors, unless it's something that you see on the back side. And I have different lengths of the poly mesh. It's awesome stuff. I really do like it. It is something we can order here at the store for you. We have quite a supply, but if we don't have what you need, you have to tell us and we'll order it. Same is true. This is Shape Flex, and it is actually comes in black also. So we have that. If you have any questions, I'll be thrilled to answer them. You can contact me. If you want to call the store, they'll give you my phone number, my cell phone number, and I can help you on the phone if I can't see you in person. But hopefully you'll be able to come to class and show off. If you come to Speedy Needle, you come and show. We have show and tell. You can bring your projects to show, and you can bring them even to classes too. But I love to teach these classes, and I miss you. Okay.